and why. Now we can certainly move up to a tighter support state here. Here's a low, and here's a high. I'm going to take this 236 out for now. And I will bold the 786 support because if we were to drop, it would take a break of this 1312 to give us a focus on a specific downside target, which would be 1285 and change. Okay, but now this is all clustered together, so I would consider that whole zone the next important support zone. We have that 236 in there, we have the price projection, and we have the target. And that's only in play if we break the 786 at 1312. All right, so what are we looking for next? Scroll back here. We're still looking for more upside. See, the 786 from that very large swing has broken. And the target is actually 1451. But that doesn't mean, as we've seen from some of these swings, that doesn't mean that we're going to shoot all the way up there. It means that on pullbacks, we'd want to focus on the idea that support is going to hold. Okay, so that's the idea. Alrighty, yeah, looks like a nice little selection of questions, and we will certainly get to them later. Okay, so I'm going to switch securities. Most of what I'm going to go over today is going to focus on daily charts. And I'll leave enough time that if there's something I haven't covered that you want to see, you can let me know. Here is a crude chart. Now this is a very interesting chart, I think. This is crude. This is actually QM. I also have CL going, but I like QM for intraday stuff too. You know, again, I'm not cherry picking these examples, but it's pretty interesting to see that the 786 hold really held. You know, if the 786 had broken, the downside target would have been just over 90. So that's what happens with these levels, is that the market, you know, let me indulge me for a moment. I'm going to talk about the market as though it has a brain. The market is, well, it's actually a little bit of everyone's brains. The market's going, hey, wait a second, do I want to go down to 90? And its way of saying no is by having the intervening 786 hold. All right, if anyone needs me, if you'd like me to draw this again, actually I think I will. So we can go over the actual drawing procedure. Alright, so now we have a blank chart. And sometimes I have a lot more stuff on it than at other times because it really depends on in my service, in my chat room and stuff, if I know that someone's trying to have a very long-term hold, I will go, you know, all the way down here and say, well, if you're trying to hold this for a long, long time, then your stop should be all the way down here at the 82 and change. That's not exactly the way I would prefer to do it, but I have people who trade on weekly time frames or longer. So there's a low to high. And here's this really outstanding low, excuse me, low to high. And there's our 786. All right, see the 618 broke. There's our 786, and there's our downside target if the 786 breaks. And you can see why I say these are always pattern shifts. Because what's happening is if this were to break, and we were to aim for this, we're taking out the prior swing low. So we'd start building a pattern of lower lows and lower highs. And that's why, you know, the 786 becomes so important. Now let's see about our other support and resistance on this. High to low from new high. Yeah, so this price projection means the rhythm of the move is still maintaining to upside. That's a very powerful thing. If you don't have any of these price projections to serve as support or resistance, the chart itself is telling you there's no rhythm right now. I think I have one of these holding here. Here's resistance price projection. So that's what we really like to see break if we're going to continue with the rally. Because that would mean that the rhythm of the downtrend has been violated. Okay? And of course we want to make sure the 786 resistance breaks in order to tell us that we're going to make the next upside target. And I think there's a big, this is a big thing of resistance. This is interesting. High to low. I keep saying this is interesting. Well, I hope it is. Here is the next 786 resistance. And see, this is why I had them add the labels, because that is an overlap with the target. You want to be able to read that. So in other words, what this is saying is if we get up to the target, we also have a much longer term 786 resistance level. And if that breaks, we're actually looking at 124. I don't know if that's going to happen. What I'd like to focus on is whether we can make this 106 target and then probably hold there with the 786. Because that is really quite a target up there. That's, obviously a new major high. And, this is a good example of what this work can tell you. There's a target up there. Of course, we want to see 102 break, but we've had other res breaks pointing higher. I'm not going to go into that this second. But we have had some resistance breaks that are, actually, I think it's over here. Yeah, this guy, 105 target, because we've broken the 786 in the way of that. So there's a lot of stuff saying, we should be able to see that 105, 106 area. Beyond that point, though, there may be a challenge. All right. If anyone needs a repeat on that, please let me know. Let's take a look at the gold. Gold, I have some timing work. In other words, some Fibonacci ratios that are based upon the time axis of the chart. And let's take off the price work. The timing stuff can seem very confusing at first, but it's really just the exact same thing, connecting the pivots in time instead of in price. Yeah, someone commented that he knows that the fib work works, and that's why we do so well in the chat room. Okay, so let's see where we are here. Yeah, there's our big high. And I'm going to take high to low. See that? The 618 is still holding. Our big issue would be the 786. Now the interesting thing with gold is we don't have any current 786 breaks to point to specific upside targets. So we're very, very dependent on what happens here on pullbacks if the support holds or not. Now, for those who are into CCI or interested, you can see, or I'll show you, that there are a couple of really, strong long side triggers on this daily chart. Okay, there's a 50-34 and a plus 100 line bounce. If you'd like more information, maybe I'll go over some of that a little bit later, but if you'd like more information about the CCI triggers.